Pinocchio was Walt Disney's second film, and if I may go out on a limb, little joke there. Anyway, I'd say it's actually better than Snow White in several aspects of storytelling and artwork. It's also been regarded as one of Disney's darker movies, given the amount of nightmare fuel and the fact that all the villains get away with their evil deeds. It's a pretty bold statement to make about how the world just isn't fair sometimes, and I'm actually a little surprised that they pulled it off, given that censorship was pretty strict about those aspects. The first villains we meet are the only two to actually get a song. Technically, only one of them even sings it, since the other is mute. Gideon and Foul Fellow, aka Honest John, are deceptively friendly to Pinocchio, and sing Hi-Diddle-Dee-Dee, An Actor's Life for Me, to the wooden boy, in an effort to sell him to Stromboli, the puppet master. The song is cheerful and upbeat, describing all the great things that await an actor. Of course, none of these things actually await the naive Pinocchio. The song is meant to be ironic in the story, but outside the story it's become quite popular, often being performed without a trace of irony. I feel like that's kind of missing the whole point of the song, but it's so darn fun and catchy that you can understand why it's been covered quite a bit since 1940.
Hi-Diddle-Dee-Dee, an actor's life for me. A high silk hat and a silver cane, a watch of gold with a diamond chain.
Foul Fellow actually had another song written for him that is featured in the Disney Legacy Collection release. It's called As I Was Sayin to the Duchess, and it's about the fox making a faux pas at a formal event and being promptly kicked out. It's a short song, running only at about a minute, and I'll be honest with you, well, more honest than Honest John would be, it's not great. It's a fun little anecdote about how the fox likes to put on airs, but it really would have added nothing to the story, and I'm happy we got the marching song that replaced it. Aside from a few brief reprises of An Actor's Life for Me, that was it for the villain songs for Pinocchio. Walt preferred to have the bulk of the songs in the first half of the movie to give the second half a more dramatic feel. He certainly succeeded. In 2000, Stephen Schwartz wrote the songs for a made-for-TV movie called Gepetto, telling the story from the toymaker's point of view. You might be rather surprised to find out that Drew Carey and Julia Louis-Dreyfus are pretty talented singers. Still, that didn't stop the cast of Whose Line from messing with Drew.
The good news and the bad news. Merry Christmas, Tommy! Look, it's Gepetto on DVD.
This version of the story does not have Foul Fellow and Gideon, but it does have a very hammy Stromboli who gets his own song called Bravo Stromboli, where he madly sings to and as his puppets. It's a Barber of Seville-sounding number about how he yearns for Pinocchio to make him famous and, even more importantly, rich. The fact that Stromboli sings as all his puppets makes this flamboyant song just a tad bit creepier. In some aspects, it's a glimpse into the mind of a madman. Also, Stephen Schwartz rhymes Pinocchio with Tokyo, which doesn't work quite as well as rhyming Adonis with like a croissant is, but still. The other villain song goes to the owners of Pleasure Island, the land where dreams and nightmares come true, in that order. The song is a lot like An Actor's Life for Me, ironically cheerful despite the coming storm. Unlike An Actor's Life for Me, Pleasure Island actually hints at the ensuing creepiness in the last verse, somewhat subtly implying that this island is not as pleasurable as it is advertised. Also, yes, that is Usher leading the song.
As we leave you with a smile and this pleasure island